Dear students, today we are going to learn about synthetic fibers, about polyester and acrylic. So we studied about rayon and nylon in the previous classes. Now the remaining two synthetic fibers, they are polyester and acrylic. So today we are going to learn about them. So the first one, polyester. Polyester is another well-known synthetic fiber. It is a polymer of many ester units. So again, polyester is also a synthetic fiber like nylon. It is prepared from artificial substances, and the monomer unit of polyester is ester. See, from the name itself we can understand that the monomer is ester. That is, many ester units combine together to form polyester. That is, monomers are esters. Ester monomers, many monomer esters are combined together to form the polymer polyester. So this is the image of polyester fiber. So from the figure we can understand that polyester is elastic and lightweight. Then we will see the preparation of polyester. So for the polyester, the monomer, we have seen that the monomer is ester. In the case of nylon, we have seen that the monomer of nylon is amide. That is, monomer amide, polymer polyamide. These polyamides combined form the fiber nylon. And also we have studied that the monomer amide, the monomer of nylon amide, is obtained from the reaction between two chemical substances, acid and amine. Okay, we studied about it in detail in the previous session. Two chemical substances, acid and amine, they react to form monomer amide. Many amide monomers combined together to form the polymer polyamide, and polyamides combined together to form nylon. Then what about the polyester? The monomer of polyester is ester, and this ester monomer is formed from two chemical substances, acid and alcohol. So what happens in this during polymerization? During polymerization of polyester, acid and alcohol, two chemical substances, acid and alcohol, they will react to form a new substance called ester. This ester is the monomer of polyester, and many ester units combined together to form the polymer polyester, and the polyester polymers are combined together to form the fiber polyester. So this is the polymerization of polyester. So we can see that during polymerization we need two chemicals, acid and alcohol. Acid and alcohol, they will react to form ester. Many ester units combined together to form polyester polymer. So ester is the monomer of polyester. Then there are different types of polyester fibers are available. So how can we obtain different types of polyester fibers? By changing the acid and alcohol. See, acids and alcohols are of different types. So when you combine different types of acids and alcohol, the ester formed will be of different. So by changing the acid and alcohol, you will get new varieties of esters. That is, we will get varieties of polyester cloths. And the most commonly used polyester is Terylene. So Terylene is an example of polyester. So terylene is the most commonly used polyester. Now we will see about terylene in detail. So what do you mean by terylene? Terylene is the most commonly used form of polyester. We are studying about polyester. Polyester is a synthetic fiber. Its monomer units are esters. An example of polyester is terylene, or we can say that the most commonly used polyester is terylene. And how is the formation of terylene? So we know that since terylene is a polyester, how can we obtain this terylene? By the reaction between acid and alcohol. So acid and alcohol will react and form monomer units esters. Their formation will give the polymers. So for the preparation of terylene, we need the alcohol should be ethylene glycol. The alcohol which we used. Okay, dear students, we have seen that for the preparation of polyester, we need two chemicals, acid and alcohol. For the preparation of terylene polyester, we need which alcohol? Ethylene glycol. And which is the acid used? Terephthalic acid. Terephthalic acid. So terephthalic acid is the acid used for the preparation of terylene, and which is the alcohol used here? Ethylene glycol. So when terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol react, we will get the corresponding ester monomers, and their combination will give the polyester terylene. So terylene is the most commonly used polyester. For the preparation of terylene polyester, we use the acid terephthalic acid, and the alcohol used is ethylene glycol. Their polymerization will give you the corresponding ester units, and then further combination you will get the terylene polyester. So this is the image of terylene polyester cloths. Then next topic is about what are the properties, or we can say that what are the properties or advantages of polyester. So polyester is used in our day-to-day life for many different purposes. So these different purposes are based on the properties or advantages of polyester. So the properties, first one, it is lightweight. Already we have seen that the fibers are not heavy, they are lightweight. At the same time, they are very strong and also elastic. Then it is resistant to stretching and shrinking. So we know that in some, especially in the case of natural fibers, they are not resistant to stretching and shrinking. But this synthetic fiber polyester can resist stretching of the fibers and also the shrinking of the clothing material. Then the polyester is resistant to wrinkles. So especially in the case of natural fibers like cotton, we can see that there will be wrinkles. So you can see that in this figure, there are a lot of wrinkles on this cloth. So this is called wrinkles. And but in the case of polyester cloths, we can see that it is resistant to wrinkles. There will be no formation of wrinkles, or there will be less chances of wrinkles in the case of polyester cloths. And also it is easy to wash. What will be the reason? Because since polyester is a synthetic fiber, it will absorb only less water, and so if we can easy to wash the polyester clothes, and since it absorbs less water compared to the natural clothes, it dries easily. Then next point, it is resistant to moths. So we have seen all the same points under nylon also, because all these are synthetic fibers, so their properties will be almost similar, like they will be lightweight, elastic, and no stretching, and they will not be attacked by moths and insects. Same point only, polyester is resistant to moths. So polyester cloths are made from acid and alcohol chemicals. So since they are obtained from synthetic chemicals, the insects or moths will not attack the polyester cloths. But in the case of wool and cotton, that is, in the case of natural fibers, the cloths can be attacked by moths and insects because they are prepared from natural substances. But the polyester are from the chemical, it is a synthetic fiber, so moths and insects will not attack. And next topic, we are going to deal with the use of polyester. We'll discuss some important use of polyester fibers. First one, the important use will be definitely what will be. It is used for making different types of dress materials. It can be used to make sarees, so polyester sarees, and it can be available to make different clothes as dress material, polyester dress materials, and also the polyester curtains. Then another use other than textile industry, what are the other uses of polyester? It is used to make polyester films or mylar. So this is mylar. So this is mylar is, we can say that mylar is an additional covering to cover the cloth or paper to get shiny appearance and also at the same time for the protection. So this mylar can be made up of polyester. And what is the use of mylar? This mylar sheets which can be cover cloth or paper, so then we will get the shiny appearance for that material. At the same time, we can protect the cloth and paper by using this mylar, and this mylar can be made up of polyester. And magnetic recording tapes, the recording tapes, it can be of polyester. Magnetic recording tapes are used for the recording purposes. Thus, tapes can be made up of polyester fibers. And third one, polyester is used for making sails of sailboats. So this is sailboat. You might have seen or you might have read about sailboats in junior classes. The sail can be made up of polyester. The sail of sailboats can be, this material can be of polyester fibers. Next, another important use of polyester is that we can combine polyester fiber with natural fibers. For example, it can be blended with natural fibers such as cotton. That is, we have the synthetic fiber polyester, and we will mix or we will combine polyester with another fiber, like natural fibers like cotton. So when you combine polyester fibers and cotton fibers, we will get a new form of fiber that is called polycode. So when polyester fibers are combined, mixed, blended with cotton fibers, we will get a new form of fiber. This new form of fiber is called polycode. Polycode. From the name we can understand polyester, cottons. The combination of polyester and cotton fibers will give us a new fiber which is called polycode. So this is the image of polycode, and this polycode can be used for making different types of dress materials because we will get the properties of or advantages of both polyester and cotton. The polyester cannot be attacked by moth and insects, it is elastic, and at the same time this material will have the properties of cotton also. We know that cotton absorbs water easily, and it is easy to use, very comfortable fibers. So we will get benefits, advantages of both polyester and cotton. So when you mix polyester and cotton, this is called polycode. An example of polycode is terrycot. So what will be terrycot? In terrycot, which will be the polyester? Polyester will be terylene. Whenever terylene polyester blended with cotton, the polycot is called terrycot. Then instead of cotton, there can be wool also. So wool is also another natural fiber. So when you combine polyester and wool, you will get the new form of fiber that is called polywool. Polywool. combination of polyester and wool. This is the picture of polywool material. And again, what will be the advantage of polywool? This polywool will have the properties of both polyester and at the same time wool. So like polyester, it will be lightweight, elastic, uh, and at the same time it will be warm, like wool. So that is the advantage of making polywool. An example of polywool is terry wool. Can you find out what will be terry wool? In terry wool, which is the polyester? Terylene. So because terry, so it will, the polyester used will be here terylene. The combination of terylene, polyester and wool is called terry wool. This type of polywool is called terry wool. So it is a major advantage or an important use of polyester. Polyester fibers can be mixed with the natural fibers and we will get new form of fibers. The next use, it is used for making conveyor belts. So this is the conveyor belts. So conveyor belts are used in different industries like mining industries and other chemical industries. So what is the use of conveyor belt? Conveyor belt is mainly used for transport objects from one place to another place, because in chemical industries it involves a lot of steps, and therefore that we have to transport materials or substances from one place to another place. For that transport, the conveyor belts are used. These conveyor belts can be made up of polyester fibers. Another use, polyester can be used for making water hose. Water hose are used for household works and for the irrigation purposes. This water hose can be of polyester fibers. Dear students, the last synthetic fiber, last one, acrylic. This is the last synthetic fiber we have to learn, acrylic. Acrylic fibers are synthetic fibers made from a polymer polyacrylonitrile, which closely resembles wool. First of all, we will see the image of acrylic fibers. This is acrylic fiber, and when you discuss about acrylic, the one of the important point is that acrylic fibers closely resembles wool. What do you mean that? The properties of acrylic fibers are similar to that of, almost similar to that of wool. So we know that wool is a natural fiber. And what are the specialities of wool? Which property of the wool is the important one? The main property is that it is wool very warm. Especially for making winter clothes, we use the wool fibers. So similar to wool, acrylic fibers look like wool. At the same time, acrylic fibers are warm. So acrylic fibers are synthetic fibers obtained from chemicals, but its properties are almost similar to that of wool. Therefore, that's why acrylic fibers closely resembles wool. So then, can you use acrylic fibers instead of wool? Yes, because wool is very expensive. But at the same time, acrylic looks like wool. It is very warm, and but acrylic fibers are not less expensive. The acrylic fibers are very less expensive. They are not expensive like wool. They are very cheaper than wool. So instead of wool, we can definitely use acrylic fibers. We have studied one more relation like this. Do you remember that rayon and silk? Rayon is a semi-synthetic fiber. It is closely resembles silk. Rayon shows the same properties of silk. Therefore, instead of rayon, we can use instead of silk, we can use rayon, because rayon is less expensive compared to silk. Similar is the case of acrylic and wool. Acrylic is a synthetic fiber. It shows the same properties of wool. So instead of wool, we can use acrylic cloths. So this is the main point you have to remember about acrylic fibers. Now we will study the preparation or polymerization of acrylic. What is the monomer unit of acrylic? It is acrylonitrile. This is acrylonitrile. The monomer unit of acrylic is acrylonitrile. Therefore, what will be the polymer? Polyacrylonitrile. So it's very easy. It is like polyester only. In the case of polyester, the monomer unit is ester and the polymer will become polyester, and the name of the fiber is also same, only polyester. But in the case of acrylic, the monomer is acrylonitrile and the polymer is polyacrylonitrile, and the name of the fiber is acrylic. Name of monomer acrylonitrile, name of the polymer polyacrylonitrile, and the name of the fiber is acrylic. So for the preparation of the monomer, for the polymerization, which chemicals we should need? We need propylene and ammonia. Okay, in the previous case, in the case of polyester, we have needed acid and alcohol. Here you have to get what? Propylene and ammonia. So these are the two chemicals which we need for the preparation of monomers. So during polymerization step, we have to combine two chemicals, propylene and ammonia. They will react and form which monomers? Acrylonitrile. And many acrylonitrile monomers are combined together to form which polymer? Polyacrylonitrile. And the combination of polyacrylonitrile will give the fiber acrylic. This is the polymerization or preparation of acrylic. Next, what are the properties of acrylic? The properties will be what? It is closely resembles wool, but at the same time it will be lightweight. So this is the advantage of acrylic. Acrylic shows the properties of wool, but at the same time it will be very lightweight. It is not heavy and very soft and warm with a wool-like touch. So it closely resembles wool. It shows the properties of wool, looks like wool. At the same time, it is soft and lightweight. Then it is resistant to moths and chemical substances and oils. The same point which we have read in the case of the rest of the synthetic fibers. So why this acrylic fibers do not attack? They are resistant to moths or insects or chemical substances and oils. So since they are obtained from chemicals, the moths, insects or oil or other chemical substances cannot damage this acrylic fibers. So this is the another advantage. So it gives the touch of wool. It will be warm like wool, but at the same time the moths or insects or chemicals will not attack. And also it is not expensive. But in the case of wool, you can see that wool is expensive, but it can be attacked by moths, insects or chemical substances. So in that scenario, which is the best one? Yes, definitely acrylic, because acrylic gives the properties or advantages of wool. At the same time, it is better than wool in the case of resistant to moths or chemicals. Next, it is easy to wash and dries quickly. Again, wool clothes are very difficult to wash and it takes time to dry. But the acrylic, it is better than wool, we can say, because it is soft and lightweight, so it is easy to wash and it absorbs less water, so we can definitely, it will be definitely dry quickly. So these are the advantages of acrylic fibers. Next, what are the uses of acrylic? So main use will be what? It can be used as an alternative of wool. That is, instead of wool material, we can use what? Acrylic. It can be used to make warm clothes like shawls, because it gives the appearance of wool and at the same time it is warm. It can be used for making sweaters. It can be used for making blankets. So all the types of winter clothes which can be made up of acrylic. Next, it is used to make furnishing, fabrics and carpets. So instead of the making of cloth, the acrylic materials can be used for designing, for making furnishing other types of clothes and carpets. It can be used for making different types of designs, or it can be used for making, we can say, for furnishing other types of fabric and cloths or carpets. Next, it can be used to make craft yarn. So the like this, acrylic fibers are available in the form of craft yarn. Using this craft yarn, you can use to make different types of clothes and dressing materials. Then another use, acrylic can be used for making awning. This is awning. So this awning is an extra. It can be, we can say, it's a protection for the houses and buildings. So this awning can be used as a protection for the building and house from the sun exposure and heat. So this, when you make this awning, it can be give protection from the from the overheat from the sun and other exposure. So it's a protective layer. It's a protection for the house and buildings, that is called awning. This awning can be made up of acrylic fibers. Then the sails of the sailboats can be made up of acrylic. Then the vehicle covers are also made up of acrylic fibers. So these are the different types of different uses of acrylic fibers. So we studied in this topic, we studied all the different types of synthetic fibers. We studied about the rayon, nylon, polyester, and last one, acrylic. So all these properties and uses are given in your textbooks. You can refer the textbook, and if you're having any doubts related to these topics, so please contact me. I will explain and revise these topics, and in the next session we will discuss the rest of the topics. Also, we have to discuss the question answers and extra questions of this lesson. We will do all this one by one. So thank you.